Welcome back to Welsh Miniature Board Gamer, and today we're going to have our usual unboxing and review of these Frostgrave Guide and Expert Guide. Why are they called Guide and Expert Guide? Why aren't they Guide and Tracker or something? Guide and Expert Guide sounds very strange. But anyway, it comes in one of these clamshell packs, as all of the metal Frostgrave miniatures do. So we seem to have a female guide or expert guide, take your pick, in this sort of, I don't know, looking or, perusing the surroundings, etc. pose. And I kind of like it. It looks kind of clean. Can't see any flashing, which is really nice. I do like that the hood is one of those long sort of medieval hoods, not the cool fantasy ones, so the one with the long, like, tendril coming out the back of them, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I think this miniature might paint up really well. So then we have the guide, or expert guide, or tracker, or whatever, and very strange pose on this guy. He's sort of like leaning into the wind, telling everybody to shush up and, stay behind him, etc. Yeah, odd pose, but yeah, I kind of like him. He's got a bit more flash, as you can see on the top of his staff. It's a bit more cleanup. It's going to be due on him. Yeah, not so keen on this miniature as the first one, but all in all, it looks like they might be quite fine to paint up, and we'll see what we get once I've painted them. Okay, so we're going to start off with the guide, or the expert guide. We'll call him the tracker just to avoid confusion. So this is sort of like the leaning into the wind, or sort of looking at the ground, etc., telling people to back off. And I painted him up, in my usual sort of standard, kind of like him. Not my favourite miniature ever, but he's okay. The detail on him is pretty good. I wasn't sure about what he's got on his head exactly. It almost looks like he's wearing a sort of an English riding helmet under a hood, which, yeah, is a unique look. But yeah, he's okay. I don't mind him. I think with most of these sort of packs of blisters for Frostgrave characters, I kind of always seem to like one and not so much the other one. So this is my sort of not so much liked, but he's okay, and he painted up all right. He's not brilliant, he's not terrible. The facial features, I could have done the beard a little bit better, but he will do, and we'll live with it. Certainly, he's not bad enough that I'm going to repaint him or anything. He'll just have to do. So then we have the guide, or the expert guide, the female of the two miniatures. And this one, I much rather to paint. I much rather to the pose. I enjoyed this miniature more. And it does look like actually she's whistling, not what I thought, where I thought she was actually like gazing into the distance. She's either whistling or blowing it on her fingers to dry off the sweat, say, to draw an arrow or something like that. But yeah, really like this miniature, and I think she came up rather decently, actually. I'm quite happy with the way I painted her, which is high praise for me indeed. The sculpt was nice, really liked the pose. She looks a little bit more sort of like, almost like strike a pose for the camera type pose, which is always going to be a good thing for when you're playing games, because you want someone to look heroic, not look like, they're just, I don't know, picking their nose, or, squatting down to go to the toilet. You want a heroic pose for your miniatures, and I think this person is sort of striking that pin-up style. So yeah, all in all, I quite like these miniatures. I rathered, obviously, her than him, but they're not bad, together. But I would say this one was actually a very nice model, and this one's kind of so it brings it down to pretty decent, So that's my review. I think they're nice miniatures, again, nicely sculpted, etc. Just not so keen on the aesthetic of the expert guide as opposed to the guide. Weird naming. So if you've liked this video, please leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, I do reply to every single video comment that you leave, and maybe subscribe while you're there. But until next time, it's going to be goodbye from me, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer.